Hello and welcome back to Cosmic Compass. Today's message is short, sweet, albeit a profound one. I am an astrologer, as a lot of you guys know, and I have had a similar message keep coming up for so many of my clients, and it's something that I think is so important this year and the years to come. And I want to talk about why this matters, why this is important today more than ever. But before we get into today's episode on the podcast and on the YouTube channel, by the way, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. And if you're following on YouTube and you're watching the video version of this episode, hello, thank you. And be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any more podcast episodes or YouTube videos from me. And before we also get into today's episode, I just want to say, my neighbors are having a party tonight. They are celebrating 20 years of marriage, so you might be hearing a lot of ABBA in the background. So it doesn't happen a lot here in Versailles, but they're going till 3 a.m. tonight, and I did my hair and makeup, and I'm not letting this go to waste, so we are going to keep on continuing with this message. One of the things that I'm noticing a lot come up in my astrology consultations, there is this theme of people feeling like the energy has cleared for them. I am consistently seeing clients who are telling me, I feel like I've just moved through a very powerful energy, or I feel like I've been going through several hard years and I'm now moving out of it. It's finally clearing. This is something that so many people are telling me, and I want to talk about why this matters, because we are in a new age. Uranus is days away from entering Gemini, which is a massive transit. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries has been profound and a huge foreshadowing of the next several years. And also Pluto in Aquarius, Jupiter in Cancer, all of these huge outer planet movements that have been taking place. We are in a new age. We are in a new era. This is a new time. And so many of us are feeling a call, a shift within us, that something is opening up. There's an opening, a doorway. I'm also noticing with Jupiter in Cancer, so many babies are being born during this transit. So many people are becoming pregnant during this transit. What a huge time for new souls to arrive on this planet. And all of this to say, there is a shift happening. And if you haven't felt this shift happen yet, it will come, because what's happening, I'm seeing a lot of people are feeling called to step up in their lives, whether that's in their personal lives or whether that's in honoring their sovereignty, their sovereignness, their intuitive abilities, and trusting their inner voice more than ever before. I'm sensing this with a lot of my clients, this desire to step up in their lives, a desire to lead, a desire to serve, a desire to shine brighter in their gifts, their talents, their abilities. There is something awakening within all of us, and it's really heart-centered. It's this call, this pull to show up and be of service in the ways that we can, that we uniquely can. And this is something that I felt when the pandemic began. When the pandemic first began back in early 2020, I was living in Strasbourg, France at the time, and I got a message to go into my Akashic records, which, if you don't know what the Akashic records are, I have a whole YouTube video and blog post on that subject. I've been reading my own records for myself since 2018, when actually someone that I worked for told me about them, and immediately my heart resonated with the word Akasha, Akashic records. My soul just felt a coming home moment when I heard those words. And ever since then, I have been using the Akashic records in my own life. And when I opened up the records at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, I was guided in that meditation, in the Akasha, in that energy. I was guided to speak online. And in that meditation, I was really confused, because I was like, what do I talk about? What do I have to say? What would I have to give to other people online? And I was told in my inner voice, in the Akashic records, share what you know. And I knew what that was. It was slow living. It was about helping people connect with their hearts, their inner voices, their simple joys, the ability to connect with themselves in a deeper way. And so what happened after I got that message, I began a 3.5-year journey of making consistent YouTube videos, talking about the simple joys, talking about the intuition, making creative, artistic, slow living artistic films to inspire people to slow down and connect with their hearts. And what ended up happening was my YouTube channel took off a year later and grew so massive in such a short amount of time. And fun fact, it was transits to my part of fortune, and also I was in a major peak period on a level 2 and a level 3 and a level 4 during that week when it happened. But so many opportunities came up for me, so much impact that I made during those years. And what happened was a book publisher reached out to me, and I ended up publishing my first book called Slow Living, where I shared all of my advice and guidance and everything that my inner voice channeled through me and things I've learned over the years, learning how to live slowly, everything I poured into this book. And it all started from a message I received in the Akashic Records. And then what ended up happening was about a year into this period where I was in a pivot and I felt really stuck. And maybe some of you guys can relate, but there's that feeling of like, okay, I've become really good at something. I know how to do something. People like it. People like what I'm doing. But just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I should continue it. It doesn't mean that I should keep doing something just because other people like that I'm doing it. And so what ended up happening was I went back into the Akashic Records, and this was in 2021. And I opened up the records and I asked again, like, inner voice, I'm feeling a sense that I'm going in a different direction, but I don't know what this is. I feel like I'm at a block or a standing still, and I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing. What do I do next? And I was guided to talk about astrocartography. And that literally started my entire business that I have now. I was guided in that meditation to write a blog post and then to make a YouTube video and then another YouTube video. And it ended up building a business. And it all started from one blog post and one YouTube video. And it's crazy how one piece of guidance that I received in my inner voice and my intuition created this wave within me, but also in so many people that have found my work, so many people that I've helped create jobs for, create businesses for, 2,500 clients I've worked with to help them find places that would better support them, so many students that I've helped. The impact of a single idea, it's profound. It's words can't even describe what happens when you follow a calling, when you follow a pull. And what's really interesting is this was back in 2022, end of 22. I was walking through a field, and this was in Corsica. I was living in Corsica at the time, and I was on my walk, my daily walk as usual, and I was walking through an empty field, and suddenly I had an idea of, I should teach on this. I should teach astrocartography. Like, why am I only making YouTube videos and doing client readings? Like, I should teach this because I teach this in my own unique way. I have like my own methodology to this, and I've taken tons of courses. I've learned from so many people, but like, I've created my own step-by-step framework. I should teach this. And so I was walking through the field and I had this sudden idea, and it was like a split second. It like came through the crown of my head all within a second of, I should teach this in a course. Literally the minute that I had that idea, a massive grasshopper flew from this nearby branch in this plant, went through my hair, and then went on its way to the left of me. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, that was a sign, because I've never had a grasshopper fly through my hair before, ever. I remember there was one time when I felt like I was going through a massive up level in my mind. It was a day, I think it was an eclipse, I believe. And I remember there was this moment where I was getting all this mean hate on the internet when I first started my YouTube channel. And so many people were saying they hated my voice and all these things and saying mean things about me in Facebook groups and all this. And I remember
there was right in front of me a praying mantis in my bathroom, and the windows were closed. I don't know how it got into my bathroom, but there was this massive praying mantis, like the size of my fist, and it was just staring right at me. And I remember being so spooked and like I was just deer in the headlights. And I remember thinking, this is a moment. I am never going to forget this day, because after that kind of like meltdown I had where I cried a lot and I was releasing a lot of like wounds and sadness within me, I remember this feeling of in my inner voice telling me, but you have to show up. You have to go online. You have to speak your truth. You have to. This is your mission. This is what you came here to do on this planet. There's no turning back. This is the point of no return, Helena. There is no turning back. And I remember when I was getting this inner voice message through me, that was when I saw the praying mantis in my house. And so that was another moment in my life where I remember just a massive shift happening for me. This happened again when that grasshopper flew through my hair when I thought of the course. And then get this. This is the crazy thing. So a year later, 1 year later, the course was finished. I made the course, it was done, and I was literally about to launch it. What ended up happening was I was working at the coffee shop. It was my birthday, and I was like a day or two away from launching my first locational astrology course, my first astrology course ever. It was the first time I'd ever done this. And I was at the coffee shop, my favorite spot in Biarritz, France. So this was a year later in a different place in France. And after building this beautiful video talking about astrocartography, I spent all day working on it in the coffee shop. And I remember I exported the file and uploaded it to YouTube, and I finished up my coffee and I walked out of the coffee shop. And literally as I'm walking across the parking lot, a grasshopper, a massive grasshopper, the second one in my life, flew on my head. And it happened again. And I remember being so spooked, so like caught off guard and just in shock because the last time I had a grasshopper fly through my hair was when I had the idea to create an astrocartography course. And so the fact that this was the second time it happened in my life, and it was 1 year later, and there was a similar theme happening. And I don't know what grasshoppers mean. I don't know what the spiritual symbolism of a grasshopper, what that means. If you guys have any recommendations or you know what grasshoppers mean, definitely send me a DM on Instagram or an email at Helena Woods, and I'd love to know what that means. But I just trusted my instincts, my intuition, my gut was like, go all in. This is it, Helena. This is it. You're meant to teach. You're meant to be a teacher. And when that happened, I remember I took a photo and I posted it on Instagram stories, and I'm pretty sure it's still there because I remember saving that moment. And all this huge story that I'm sharing with you is really an encouragement, an inspiration to notice the signs, notice when things are happening. As another example, I just got an astrological talisman, and I need to make a whole podcast episode on astrological talismans, but I have had some crazy things happen to me since getting these talismans from Christopher Warnock at renaissanceastrology.com. And I gotta make a whole series. I want to make a whole series on astrological talismans, on like my experience having them, because some crazy things have been happening. I've had some weird signs and like weird things happen out of nowhere, and there's just something about signs and like noticing signs and keeping your eyes, your heart, your soul, your spirit alive and open to notice them. Notice when something's coming through, to notice when something feels different, when you feel like you're on the precipice and you don't know what it is, but you know something's coming. There's something about that that's beckoning you, that's calling you, that's whispering to your inner compass, that inner compass that's always within you and asking you to look at it. That's what our inner voice wants us to do, is it wants us to pay attention and it wants us to listen. And we can only really listen when we slow down and when we get clear and when we simplify and listen closely. And so I want you to ask yourself from this episode today, what are you being called to do right now? What is opening up for you right now? What have you noticed in the last couple of months? Like so many of my clients that have been telling me in my private consultations, something is ending and something new is awakening within you. Something is opening up for you. And I want you to ask yourself today, when you get through with this podcast episode, I want you to sit down with your journal and I want you to ask yourself, what is coming through? What is beginning for me? Because something is shifting. And I think this is a lot of things with the planets. I think this is the self-sovereignty era. This is the owning yourself, your inner voice, and listening to yourself and being true to your authentic spirit. But just so much more. Jupiter's in Cancer, North Node's in Pisces. What a spiritual, faithful time of connecting with something beyond, connecting with something magical, connecting with something cosmic. And I also want you to ask yourself this follow-up question in your journal, or when you're taking some time to meditate this morning with lighting a candle before bed, watching the flame and allowing your gaze to soften and really get still, and ask yourself this question. That's what I do every night before I go to sleep, by the way. It's part of my routine is I light a candle, a couple of candles in my bedroom. I sit them on my nightstand right next to my bed, and I just allow myself to watch the flame, and I ask myself questions, or I'll ask God or the universe to send me some messages through my dreams so that I have some answers for something I'm looking for, something I need support with. And I want you to ask yourself this question of 3 years from now, if I keep doing what I've been doing over the last year or so, what will it look like? What will it look like if I keep doing what I've been doing 3 years from now? And then I want you to ask yourself the follow-up question of, if I try something new, or I decide to have new beliefs and new thoughts around whatever area of life that you're looking to tap further into, what would your life look like if you changed your ideas, you changed your thoughts, you changed your beliefs, you changed how you viewed yourself, you changed how you viewed the world, and you started seeing more of the flip side of that, the possibility of what could be? How would your life change? What could change 3 years from now if you decided to see life? If you decided to see your life, your reality in a completely new way, what would happen? What would change? Like, seriously, ask yourself that. I feel like this is something that, a lot of us, we kind of just live our lives on autopilot. We're doing the same thing all the time. And then we hear something from someone, or someone recommends a tool or a skill set or a YouTube video or a podcaster or a YouTube creator or someone out there that's doing something. And then we start watching their content, or we start learning that skill set or that tool, and then something in our lives just completely changes. I remember this happened to me years ago. A friend of mine came to visit me in Paris, and I was in a real deep funk at that time, and she basically gave me a list of resources and people I should look at on YouTube and different creators. And I started getting into their work, and it just really opened my eyes to a new way of doing things. And that was the time I actually learned about law of assumption, which is assuming what is true about yourself. And the world and other people treat you the way that you treat yourself, the way that you see yourself. And it sounds like a really simple concept, and it is, but I always thought about the law of attraction, not the law of assumption. And there was something about that work of assuming something to be true that really was a massive game changer in my life. And I haven't been the same way since. There's just something really powerful about taking action on what you hear, taking action on the signs you see or you sense or you feel into. Or if you find a tool or a resource and it changes your life, take action on it. If you notice that your mindset's changing, your thoughts and your beliefs about something are changing, follow it. The reason I'm making this episode is because there are so many people that are opening themselves up to magic right now with Jupiter in Cancer and the North Node in Pisces. And I want to encourage you to allow yourself to take up space, to allow yourself to be seen, allow yourself to step into your gifts and your talents and own it. Get unshakable. Get deep within your self-sovereignty and become the leader that you wish you had. Become the hero that you wish your childhood self could see, could have, could be. And the reason I'm saying all this is because I've just learned over the last 2 to 3 years that your life can completely change very quickly. Like my life changed so fast within 1 year's time. And it was because I made the commitment. I decided this is what my reality gets to look like. And then I took daily action to make it happen. And the impact that I see on how I affect other people, when I meet with my clients and I see how their lives change because of my work, when I have a podcast interview, like I had a podcast interview with someone tonight, and just hearing how the work that she found of mine on social media has completely like changed her perspective on life. It's like, I can't believe that me talking about what I love and just talking about my passion for astrocartography, just being open and sharing what I love can have this powerful, insane ripple effect on so many people. And the impact I make the impact that I see that I've made on people's lives is so rewarding and so fulfilling. And it is our job to keep our channels clear and also to keep our bodies clean and healthy, to be very discerning and mindful about what we consume and also what we take in, because you are who you hang with. The people you surround yourself with, the things you consume, the things you follow, the energy that you're around, the groups that you're a part of, it absolutely affects you in every way. And all of this to say, I have a very exciting announcement, and it is something I've been working on since November of 2024. I got a download that it was time to make a membership in November of 2024. I was at an astrology community event in New York City. It was my first one ever. And I just felt like there was this, how do I describe this? Maybe I'll describe this at some point in life, I might make a full episode talking about what I learned from this astrology meetup and this community kind of event in New York City. And I was really disappointed by it and disappointed by the people there. And it actually, when I was walking away, I was like one of the first people out of the room, out of the door. I just left that meetup so fast. And I was walking down the street and I immediately got the hit of, you need to build your own community. You need to build your own membership of people who are living from a place of possibility and potential, and people who actually want to step into their leadership, their inner confidence, their self-sovereignty, and create spaces and create things and magic that is aligning and heartfelt and soulful. And that's where the idea came from, was that walk leaving that community event. And so after many, many months, it is now end of June 2025. It is finally here. The Cosmic Compass membership. You guys know the Cosmic Compass podcast, but the membership is a live monthly membership with me where you get continued access to live calls with me every single month. And a little bit about what's included in the membership. We've got live EFT tapping sessions together as a community. We've got my recorded meditations. We have my new video mini course alive and available, but it doesn't stop there. We're going to be having 2 live calls with me on Zoom every single month, plus bonus EFT tapping sessions, as I've mentioned. The first call at the beginning of the month will be on the astrology forecast for the month and how best to use the cosmic energies for maximum success in your life. Whether you're a business owner or a human design reader, a Reiki practitioner, or a YouTube creator, whatever it is that you're doing, if you are a soulful, heart-led entrepreneur, cosmic leader, and someone that is ready to take up space, be seen, and lead in heart-led service, if you're ready to go for it this year, to take ownership of your life and make this happen, the Cosmic membership is for you. We've got the astrology forecast for the month, and then in the second live call with me over Zoom, it is a mindset mastery coaching call. I'm going to be teaching you everything that I've learned in my own life through trial and error experience, everything I've learned, everything from EFT tapping to subconscious neural reprogramming to law of assumption, law of attraction, manifestation concepts. You guys know how I feel about manifestation, but law of assumption, how to create a new reality for yourself where you are living as the next level version of you every single day. If you are ready to step into this next level, if you are ready to take up massive ownership of your life, to no longer live in victim narrative, if you are ready to go for it it to be seen and to allow yourself, your gifts to shine bright so that you can fully help everyone around you during this wild age that we're living in. Because 2025 going forward, it's a new era, it's a new age. We're not going back to what life used to be. This is the new era, and we need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck for people to be of service and people to support others. And I really believe that it starts from within. It starts from your energy within, your clear channel, your connection with your inner voice and your intuition, which we're going to be going deep on in this monthly membership, and mindset tools and tips and tricks and all of the different things that I'm going to be teaching you live every single month in this membership. These skills are going to help you so much step into the leader that you know you can be and that you are going to be. And if you feel that pull to join the membership, it is open now until July 11th. So if you want to join the membership, the first round of this membership is open until July 11th. If you're ready to join in this monthly membership with me, get access to all of the goodies, the community, the monthly live calls with me, then check out the link in the show notes and in the description of this video. The price is the lowest that it's ever going to be right now. And then doors will close for this cohort on July 11th, and then the price will go significantly up. So if you do want to join this live community membership with me, click the link down below, helenawoods.com/membership. You can see what's all included, everything that's part of this membership. And I'm so excited to see you in there for our first call coming up in just a few short days, because I got to do an astrology forecast for you live over on Zoom so you can best work with the energies for the month to plan your month ahead for maximum results and success. So check out the link down below if you feel intuitively, if your heart feels called, if you feel called to join. I'm so excited to see you in there live coming up in a few days for our first live astrology call. And I just want you to remember that this is your time. This is your time to shine. We need all hands on deck right now to help other people, to support others, to lift the collective consciousness, to lift the energy, to uplift and inspire and bring light to the world during these times. That is what we are being called to do. I'm so excited for you, this new era that you're walking into with Jupiter in Cancer, North Node in Pisces, Neptune in Aries. Just what a time it is to be alive right now. I hope that my stories, these examples, and this podcast episode here on Cosmic Compass has supported you. Please know that you've got this, and you are the captain of your ship. You are the leader, the hero of your hero's journey. And as long as you are slowing down in your life and really trusting yourself, you've got this. And if you want more tools, practical, tangible tools, step-by-step processes, methods, I teach you everything in this membership, everything from inner voice connection and intuition channeling to using astrology for the month to work that magic, as well as EFT tapping and so much more. I'm so excited to support you there if your intuition feels it's a fit. All that said, I hope you have a magical, beautiful rest of your day, and happy astro travels.